What's up, everybody? It is your lovely host, Simone, and welcome back to I Was Thinking. Yay! And this is going to
Ooh.
be a very special episode. So my co-host Nafis is not here, but I am not alone. I actually have some guests. We're going to be talking about BTS, and I have said before, I've missed talking about BTS, so it's a BTS lockdown finally. And if that is not your jazz, you can just stop it now. But if you've been listening to us for a while, you already know that I'm an army. I bring them up in every episode. But anyway, yes, and it's also special because we're doing an album review. I have not done that since B. Anyway, I've talked about them before. I met them through TikTok because I used to do TikTok. Right now, not so sure. And I've only mentioned one of them by name, and it was Shay. So yes, but you'll I had to because I talked about the Discord a little bit, I think at the beginning of the year. But anyway, I will let them introduce themselves, how they got into BTS, how long they've been into them, their bias, and all that good stuff. So I don't know if you want me to like pick and choose who goes, or y'all just want to go. If we want to do by, hierarchy of age, hierarchy, because I am the Magne here. So
Just the baby.
I am.
You the one that brought us all here usually. Like you're like
Okay. Well, I'll start with the first person I asked, which is Gina. So Gina.
There we go.
Hi, I'm Gina.
Hi.
I am on TikTok. Again, that's how Simone and I met. I am a Hobie bias, which is no surprise because if you get to know my personality, especially when I'm talking here, you'll probably see it come out. I have been an army since April of 2021, so I am relatively new, but I binged all their content very quickly because the pandemic basically gave me time to do so. But yeah, so I do TikToks and I read books and I combine the two with BTS. So that's what I do.
Awesome. Shay, we can go to you next.
Yeah. What's up? I'm Shay. I have been a BTS army since the Black Swan era. So I think that was like top of 2020, right around pandemic time. I was OT7 straight up the entire time, but this year I came to an epiphany that I am a Yoongi bias, also embody Yoongi in most of what I do. So it only makes sense. Also do TikTok. It's where clearly we all met through TikTok, and also run a very small little niche Discord server, which has brought forth a lot of really dope relationships. We just spent a weekend in Chicago, and we're planning on going to spend a weekend in Texas pretty soon, next month, I think, end of the month. Yeah, so it's been cool to build this little community we have here in this little niche corner of TikTok spaces. And yeah, I'm as one of my friends, I'm really happy to be here. So, and I cuss a lot, so glad. Just know that more than likely, if you got to bleep some shit out, I'm sorry.
Girl, I do not care. I already told you this before recording, but just we're unfiltered here at this point. So
yeah, it's my favorite kind of filter.
There you go. And then Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm also on TikTok, but who isn't these days? Everybody's on TikTok. But I have an account called, you can find me at Afrocentricity on TikTok, and I do mostly thirsty, fun content. And by thirsty, if people are not aware of what thirst K-pop content is, we literally just celebrate all aspects of BTS because I am a BTS army. And I like to talk about everything from the music to their fashion, their looks, and just appreciate them all around. So if you like that sort of thing, you can feel free to come on over and have fun with us over on my account. I am a JK bias. I'll throw that one in there. And I've been a JK bias for like the longest time. So he's not going nowhere. But I have my record keeps changing, y'all. So I don't know if I'm even going to bother telling you who my record is. It'd probably be different by the time Jin and Tae at the moment are my wreckers, but it rotates. I promise you. I'm 39 years old, so I guess I am classed as a Ajuma army, but very proud Ajuma, and definitely rep for the older stands within BTS Army and in K-pop as a whole. I like to provide a space for older armies to feel comfortable to be themselves and to enjoy themselves in whatever way they see fit. And there is no judgment when it comes to being a K-pop stan, being a BTS Army, and being older, being queer, being disabled, all those things. I like to kind of try to champion. So that's me. And I'm so happy to be on your podcast, Simone.
Yes. Well, again, thank you guys so much just for, taking time out of, I'm sure, your busy days just to come on here. I was telling Gina this last night, like, I don't even think thank you is a strong enough word for me to express just like my gratitude that you guys wanted to come on here. So, like, I really appreciate it.
That's no problem, man.
Yes, so we have a stack full episode, so let's go ahead and get started. Well, before I do that too, I did want to say, just to make sure people that are listening to look at the description box, because I am going to add some GoFundMe's. I know on Twitter/X, I still hate calling it X, but Army for Palestine is doing a current campaign of like armies that are in Palestine that need, some money for their GoFundMe's, as well as the Sudan aid kitchen that I had found last time. I'll check where they're at. And in case they met their goal, I'll try to look for another one. But I will add that as well as focus on Congo. And honestly, too, in case anyone else has any like GoFundMe links or just like information boards they want me to add, not even just for the places I named, but also just like in your local area, just let me know. You can send me an email because I feel like I need to do a better job, like just in general, of like spreading awareness of what's going on. And like if there's anyone out there that can help to just, let them help.
Sure.
Yeah. But it is
free
June.
To, free to guys till it's backwards and all that shit.
Yep. None of us are free until we're all free.
Yeah.
So, range true. Okay, so it is the month of June, and June is special for many reasons. First of all, happy Pride Month, y'all. Gay shit. Let's go. Gay shit.
Hashtag gay shit.
But
we love the gay shit.
But we do. Okay. We love it over here. But also for BTS Army, it is also the celebration that they became BTS. So June 13th is their actual debut day, and it is their 11th anniversary this year. Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know, right? Still going on strong, and we hope for more to come.
Absolutely.
So during Festa, at least for the first 2 weeks, they usually do a lot of like activities, either online and offline as well. We are going to talk about first JK's new song that he gave us as a gift, as well as the big Festa event that's going to happen by the time I put this out Friday, Korean Standard Time. So that can be anything depending on where you are. But let us start with JK's new song. So on May 31st/June 1st, again, depending on your time zone, big hit / hype. I never know still how to address them, so I just say both. But they released an infographic for Festa, of course, giving the times and dates for the Festa activities. And then on the same day, JK actually posted on Weavers, one, having the shout out Namjoon's album because masterpiece that we'll get to later. And that he also missed Army. And I also have to say thank you, Jen, because I feel like he saw your video in order for him to post.
He's got tabs on her.
For real.
He does.
That's
that
true.
was a little weird. It was a little weird.
No, it wasn't weird. He watches.
He be lurking.
How did you feel about that? Because I know, like, I was one of the people that spammed your comments. Like, I had literally just watched your video. You posted it an hour ago. And then I saw he posted. I was like, Jen, he saw it.
Honestly, we've had several situations that have happened where I've posted something, be it asking him to post or just something kind of cryptic, and then he's done something or he's posted and it's just it's giving very much like, oh, the coincidences be coincidencing. But this time was genuine. I know I'm Delulu, but I don't like to feed into Delulu too much, Simone. So I usually am just like, oh, it was a coincidence. It's fine. It ain't nothing. This time was kind of creepy because I was at work after I posted that video as I was like heading to work. And then I posted it, put my phone away, went to work, did the thing. And then as I got out and I saw all the notifications, I was like, what? He posted? And it was the comment, because I had made like the little shady remark about like, what kind of dog dad are you? You haven't even updated your BAM account. And then he wrote something about, he did a little play on words with the BAM. And I mean, I'm not great with Korean translation and stuff, so it didn't make too much sense to me, but I thought it was just very interesting that he threw BAM in there. And it just creeped me out a little bit. But
I've been telling you for years that literally he watches her and then he's like, fine, she's calling me out. I'm going to listen to this woman.
There was one where I literally was crying. It was so embarrassing. I did a video. I had such a bad week and I cried on this video. And I'm just crying saying, I would really love for you to post. And then I was about to curse. This guy posts.
I don't care if you do.
I was like, so yeah, so it's one of those things. I don't try to think about it too much, but honestly, I think they watch. And I've said this to people. I think that they peruse TikTok. I think they stumble upon videos. The FYP and the TikTok algorithm is such a funny thing that you just don't know where your video is going to go. You might not even have that many views and you could reach, like when JK saw the video that he liked, it wasn't on a lot of views. So I kept thinking, how did this even make it to his FYP? So it's fun to be Delulu.
We all have to be Delulu. I think being part of a fandom is having Delulu. So if we don't have any of it, what fun are we having?
Right. So the other half of the parasocial spectrum.
Yes. Healthy parasocial. We talk about that a lot. There is a difference, and we see the differences play out. Those of us who are healthy Delulus, we know how to have fun with it, but we know boundaries.
Right.
And those who are not healthy Delulus, there's a very big lack of boundaries.
Are you going to tell him to post a picture for FALESTA, like of his toe or something? So that's the next video you need to make.
Right. I'll get on that. I'll get on that. But like I gotta say I'm so excited for Jin coming home. So JK is gonna have to sit quietly for a second because we're really gonna celebrate Jin like crazy.
We are. He deserves it though, especially being the first one going in.
Absolutely.
Right. God, it doesn't seem like, I know he's been gone a long time. It feels like it's been forever, but it doesn't really feel, now that he's literally, we're like, 72 hours, little less than, like, it doesn't feel like he's been gone that long.
My heart flutter a little bit. I'm not even going to lie. When you say it in how many hours it is, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God, Cheetah.
Yeah. Like,
does it tickle a special part in you?
It does. It does. Like I cried so hard for that, man. I was talking to my husband and he's like, I can tell how excited you are. He's like, because you were really upset when he left. He's like, you went into depression. And he's like, you're going to be lifted out of depression. And he's like, and then Hobie's going to come home. But he saw me go through it. Like that man saw me go through the morning. Like literally when Jin left, I was like, I cried.
Gina really struggled with Jin going. And we talked a lot during that time. I was really surprised to see how much it affected her. And I think, Gina, you said yourself, like you didn't realize how hard it was going to hit you until it happened.
No.
And I think that was the same for a lot of people.
I thought to do better with it for some reason. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was overconfident in my ability to, and how hard I like love something and someone. And yeah, Jin like took me out for a long time, and I thought it'd be better with Hobie, but when it's your bias, like we all know, like it just hits different.
Yeah.
So them being the first two was hard for me.
I wish I could say like I had like the similar experience. Like I remember when Jin went in, I think I was just I know that they were tired of like dealing with the back and forth from the government. And I think I was just kind of like, I felt like Jin when we got like the clips later on when he was just like, whatever, let's get it done. Fuck it, essentially. You know, he was cracking jokes like asking Yoongi, like, you want to be the one to cut my hair? Like, he was just like, I don't know why, but at that time, even before we got all the footage from that, I didn't feel as sad about it. I was just like, okay, now we're kicking this shit off. You know what I mean? But then when J-Hope, when his announcement came, I was sad for like 2 seconds, and then Namjoon posted that damn live of him breathing heavy. I remember because I made a video about it, and I was like, I can't be sad because he comes on here with a sexy ass, like, heavy laden breathing, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna sit in bed all day and wallow in pity. And then we had such a gap between Hobie and Yoongi, and then we had the tour, which was emotional wreck, and then Yoongi disappeared for like 2 weeks or so. And I called him out too, because I was like, where the hell are you at? You just disappeared.
I think it was a month. Was it not a month?
Was it a month?
Or was it
yeah,
2 weeks?
it
was a
been.
while.
It might have been. Yeah, listen, my construct of time is shit. So like, but yeah, it's
no,
like,
you're
it just
fine.
felt, yeah. I don't keep like, so Yoongi was hard for me, but I think, and then the rest of them went together, you know, in the same span of time. But I don't think that I had a real break moment until JK's live. And I haven't even watched the whole live, but I saw the clips.
So short.
Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, that's the one that'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's not even my bias. Like, when I look at JK, I look at him like how Gina be talking about this too. Like, he's like little brother. And it's just because, like, I feel like that this need to like protect him, even though I don't need to protect him, but I want him to be safe. I want him to be, you know, happy. And I always want him to be like, yeah, I want him to be happy. I want him to be safe. And so when he went and I saw like just the reality set in, I was like, yeah, that'll do it. That one did it. So
no, I get that.
It wasn't my bias that, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of us felt that way too. I noticed a shift after JK's last live. Because I know for me, we kind of talked about this in your Discord too, about like, not to sound morbid, but kind of like mourning the death of the BTS you'd never know. Because I have been in the fandom for a while. I know Jen, I think, has been in longer than me since 2015.
That's right.
Correct? Yeah. Okay, yeah. And I've been in it since 2018. So like I came in around the time where I guess they were truly having their like actual peak, especially in the West. And like I do remember all the articles that were coming out about like the military, will they go, will they won't go, all the politics, the back and forth. And I did also do an episode with my friend Macy actually after the FESTA. And I had even said it right then and there before they even announced Jin was going. I was like, I think they're going to the military. Like, no one can tell me different because I had stopped seeing those articles. So when I stopped seeing those articles, I'm like, okay, if they like had exempted them, we would have seen it everywhere. The fact that I'm not seeing this anymore and just the vibe I was getting from them, I'm like, they're going. And then at first I was thrown off because like it took a while until they actually announced they were going. They were still doing activities, and then they had like the Busan thing for the government. But anyway, so
I think it was a smart way to do it. Honestly, looking back, I think doing what they did in Busan and then dropping it like within days, next day, it was like such a kick in the balls. It was so good. Like, I was like, this is how it should have been done. Like, I don't see it any other way. I am glad it wasn't some formal press conference bullshit. It was like, we did this for you, okay, bye. Like, that's it. Like, it was so beautiful. And yeah, it was like shocking because like some of us knew it was coming. Those of us who really knew there was no exemption coming, we knew it was coming, but we didn't know when. And it blindsided us, but I think in a good way. Again, I think how they handled it, they just ripped the Band-Aid off. They said, we're taking control of our lives. This is what I think was the start of what we're going to see and what we see in Namjoon's album later. Like, we see that was the beginning of it being ripped off and saying, now we have control.
Yeah, I see that a lot. So does anyone else want to add on to that? Or
I totally agree. I mean, I think they handled that whole situation very professionally. I think they gave way more grace to the government than the government deserved. They were downright being disrespected. Those people were playing with their lives. And I heard about an updated article I read about how much BTS actually to the Korean economy, and it's gone up since the last count that they did last year. And I can't remember the exact amount, but it's large. And I remember when I saw it, can we honestly say that they're quite happy, like they'll happily toy with their futures, they'll toy with their lives, their families' lives. When it came to this whole military thing, they genuinely were trying to figure out a way to like stretch BTS to bring in as much like revenue as possible. And then the Busan concert thing and all the shenanigans there. And I felt very sorry for them during that time. And I don't like to feel sorry for millionaires, but I mean, I felt sorry for them. It was like, damn, like these people really don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Your own government don't give a fuck about you. And they literally, like, they don't even care how this situation is affecting you. I'm not saying BTS are special. Every man in that bracket has to go to the military. They all go through those emotions. Knowing that they are such powerhouses when it comes to the economy, tourism, all these things. I just wonder if they ever felt like that situation with them basically saying, fuck you, we're going to take control of this ourselves. That must have been them just hitting their peak of like, we're so done. We don't give a fuck. And it showed in their performance too. If you watch the Busan show, that aggression, the very much I don't give a fuck energy, it was all there. And they impressed me. They were very professional, but they sent a clear message to those people and they impressed me. And my faves continue to impress me all the time. But that was I like how they handled things. But me and Gina talked about this. We felt really bad for Jin because of all the fuckery. That poor man ended up having to go into the military during a season that he was really nervous about, which was the winter. He could have been in there in the spring and be already home by now. But, yeah, so.
But I do, to bring it back to the song JK did, I feel like Festa comes when we need Festa to come, because when we are dragging, I have seen, and I know a lot of us talk about how we see where armies, like real depression that the guys are gone starts hitting. And you can see it in the things that are not being made and the things being made on, especially on TikTok and everything, like the lack of edits or the lack of this or that. And it seems like just when we're at the peak of our sadness and Jin is like coming, JK drops like a dance song, but also makes us cry while we're listening to the dance song.
You gotta twerk the sadness away, okay? You can cry while you're twerking. That's fine.
And he even said, like, in his message, like, I had planned to do a video to dance. And I was like, you missed that opportunity to be shirtless again and body paint yourself purple and just dance around. Like, that would have been the perfect thing to do. Add some body glitter.
Are you trying to make him a blue man?
Yeah, he'd be perfect.
Right.
And
a purple man?
Pride.
The Bora man.
The Bora man.
Yes.
Like, it was because it's such a good song, and you can see how it could have fit into Golden perfectly. Like, I kept thinking about that when I was listening to it. I said, if you put this and Please Don't Change in the same vibe, it's like the same vibe. It's literally Please Don't Change Borhe edition is what it is. And I'm here for that, honestly. I think this is like, and honestly, it's a summer song you could sneak into your playlist and nobody would know any different. They would think it was a song about you loving your partner and it'd be fine.
I mean, that's
but honestly,
completely true.
It's a love song to us, but you know.
Yeah. Because like you said, it is, it's a bop. It is a summer song. And I did think that. I was like, I wonder if this is kind of like a Tay situation. Because I feel like Tay said the same thing with Friends, that he was debating on putting it on layover or not. Because even on like the album art, there is a question mark like on the layover. So I wonder if like Friends was supposed to go on there and that he decided to like release it during this time. And I just wonder if like JK kind of did the same thing where like maybe this was a contender for Golden, but he
I
was like,
feel-
well, I'm gone.
I feel like it would have been a good secret track, like kind of what Jimin did with his song. Like he put a secret track in Face for the fans. I feel like it would have gone great as a secret song, like Still With You, but like just put in there. But JK is so good at pulling emotions out with his Festa songs. Like the man was made, the only time he writes a song is Festa. He's like, you know what? I'm pulling out the pen and paper, bitches. Like I'm doing this for you. Like it's like him pulling out the bouquet of flowers. Like, look what I made for you.
I feel like that's when you see like when he cares. He's like, you know, they can write the songs for me. I'll sing whatever. But when it comes to like Army, he's like, nope, I got this. Like, give me the pen, give me the paper.
He's like the toddler. I do it. I do it.
And I can't imagine how much work, you know, went into you know, because he doesn't find writing the easiest thing. That's a real Achilles heel for JK. So and I remember when he wrote My You, he was so, again, he is very critical of himself constantly. But he said he went to Namjoon. He called Namjoon so many times and would say, is this right? Does that sound right? So I'm wondering who maybe might have supported him in the writing of this one. Or has he reached a point where he's very confidently writing songs now? Because this song is great. The lyrics are great. It's fun. It flows well. Like his diction and his pronunciation is beautiful. He gets better with every English song he sings, I believe. Nobody would be wrong if they said, I didn't know that was a career. That takes a lot of work, working on your pronunciation and your diction. And I'm super proud of him. I'm so glad I like the song, because I'll be real with you. I go into every solo release prepared to possibly finally get to a point where there's a song I don't like. And I'm so glad I'm not there yet. I know a lot of other people aren't on that journey, because I think there's been some discourse that people just aren't really feeling any of BTS's solo activities. I saw a very strange video on TikTok. I won't name the creator or anything, but like they made a point to say, like after JK's release, they're like, I'm just so over it. Like, and then they started bringing up like all the old stuff. Like, when are we going to get this feeling back? And they start talking like nostalgically, which is fine. The old BTS music is very powerful and beautiful and fun and has a lot of memories. But I don't know. I guess I'm very, very happy that I can connect to BTS's solo work too. Like I get what they're trying to do with their solo stuff, what they're trying to do with what the vision is, the sound. I love that it's varied. I love that it's not samey. Like, I don't know. My Army ego is thriving at the moment.
And I think
it's fine.
It's Festa. It's fine.
Exactly. But like also too, it's just interesting because I just feel like that's a cycle. Because I remember when I joined in, people were like, oh, I want them to go back to like HYYH or like the Wings era. And then when like Love Yourself was over, Map the Soul. Oh, I miss when they did the Love Yourself era. Why won't they go back to that? And then of course the English songs, which like I know that's very polarizing. And I do have my favorites, and I have one that I really do not like. But that's just music. It's just subjective. Just because I don't like one song doesn't mean I hate BTS. It's like people can't like separate that for some reason. It's like they think if you just hate just one song, it's like, oh, well, you're anti. And I really wish people would stop throwing that word around, because at this point it's becoming like bastardized. But anyway.
But I do think that there is a reason why the guys retire certain songs from performing. It's not necessarily because they're tired of performing them, like sometimes maybe, but I think the reason is something that like Namjoon and they have reiterated in different interviews is they don't like to look back a lot. They like to move forward. They like to progress. They like to grow. And I think, again, people are afraid of change and afraid of growth, because if you change something, then people who have felt entitled to being happy or depend on idols, groups, music to be happy, they look at that and they're saying they're changing something. I don't like that. They're changing, I'm not getting the benefits that I was getting. So, but the thing is that we're seeing a progression in their lives through their solo projects. And I think it's going to translate into what we're going to see in this new HYYH era that they brought up. And I think it's a disservice to not like or try their solos. You don't need to love every solo album, but you need to, if you care about this group and you care about these men and who they are, you should listen to their music, because it's like listening to a conversation with a friend or a family member. Like if they're going through something, these albums are the conversation, and you should at least listen to it once. And it's okay not to like it, but you need to listen so that you're able to relate to the BTS that's coming down the line.
Yeah. And I think that's just a thing with like K-pop as well. Because it's really interesting and almost like contradicting, where like people will complain if like one of the groups are staying with the same sound, but then like they'll also complain if they change their sound. And you'll see it a lot with girl groups as well. Like one I can think of is like ITZY. For some reason, when they came out with that In the Morning song, it's like people just started turning on them, and it's like, what? So
yeah.
Can I ask what that was about, Simone? I don't follow ITZY, so I don't know. Why did people turn on them because of the song?
I don't know. I just remember when that song came out, people just didn't like it, which is like, okay, not every song is a hit, but it's like after that, for some reason, people like every time they released a song would just like give them unnecessary hate. Like I can't explain it because even myself, I don't know why. I think the same thing kind of happened with like Stacy, like after ASAP, which was like their biggest song. And then I think when they came out with Teddy Bear, people started to like turn on them because they started going to more to like a QT sound, and they wanted more songs like ASAP. So it's like, it seems like they want to do this. So it's like, if they're going this direction, it's up to you to figure out if you want to be a fan of theirs or not. But like, you don't have to harass them because they decided to change their sound, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard for like groups to find their sound, especially in the music scape that's happening now. Like there's a lot of, if you listen to what's popular even in the Western side of music, it is not the same as it was in the 90s, in the early 2000s. Like the music has changed, the depth of lyrics has changed. We're seeing a lot of different things. And I think in K-pop, it's very similar in the sense of they are trying to find a sound that will get them to go viral, because if you go viral, like you should stick with that. But then they get scared because then they're not going to have a demographic that they wanted. Because sometimes the more cutesy stuff won't pull in the older group, which is the older group is who has the money to pay to go to the tours. So they're trying to stretch into all the demographics, and in doing that, I think they're screwing themselves. Like they should just stick with a sound and hope that someone locks on, because there will be fans that find you. But I think companies get really nervous. And I mean, look at how many disbandments there have been like this year of just groups that were, some being surprising, some who had just debuted just like, you know, a year or two ago. It's that I think that they can't find their sound fast enough.
So I guess that also goes into a bigger question, and this can apply to BTS as well. It's like, if we should focus more, well, not us because we don't work for Hybe, but it's like, is it more important to have like a core fan base, or like to make songs for the general public?
It's both.
Both.
It's both. It's because like I had this conversation what was it, 2 days ago with a friend of mine. I listen to all kinds of music. I take time because for those who don't know, anybody who chooses to care, I drive. I'm a truck driver. I drive across the country for a living, so I spend a lot of time just absorbing music. It's my passion. It's something that I really love. And so one thing that I've noticed about anyone who has a fan base, a solid fan base, and I'm going to use not BTS, I'm going to use Billie Eilish. I was having this conversation because her new album dropped not too long ago. No hate to Billie, because I think what she does is amazing. But without her brother, I fear that Billie would be very mediocre as a artist. But the same applies for her brother. And her brother also does music on his own. His music is also very kind of run-of-the-mill mediocre. It's the same general stuff. But when you have a fan base that is loyal to you, the way that Billie Eilish's fan base is loyal to her no matter what she puts out. And again, when they come together and they make music and they do stuff that is all in-house. They do stuff, they don't really work with anybody else. They just work with each other. You can make music for the general public and general consumption that will chart, it will move depending on where we're at in music. But it's the core of your fan base that you have to at first appease. Because if you don't, then what we're seeing happening in K-pop is oversaturated. Number one, they're churning out groups. I mean, I'm not even trying to like get into this controversy because this is a recent one. This whole Baby Monster and Bad Villain controversy. Well, no, it's not even.
And
it's
that's
just
interesting.
a
I didn't know
conversation.
people were comparing them. So,
but
that
they
was
are
new
very
to me
similar.
when you said
I'm not even
that.
trying to be like messy or shady, but they are similar. But my thing is, K-pop in and of itself is the only genre where they expect every group to have just like their own original thing. No other genre of music is like that. You know how many R&B singers like generally sing about the same shit? Like, or they have the similar concept. Nobody cares. K-pop, for whatever reason, because of fan wars and because of stupid shit like that, they expect every group, and now especially with the whole hype controversy with Manhesion or whatever, like now it's like now the buzzword is like plagiarism and copying and all that, and like okay, like this is just it's just where we're at right now. So, which is fine. I mean, it's something I'm learning through because I don't really understand it because, like I said, I listen to so much across the genre just board in general. Like I don't understand why K-pop stands or obviously company people now at this point, because it's so funny to me. I don't want to get too deep into the whole that whole shit because I know it's like a lot, but the fact that even higher up corporate people are even just as petty as some K-pop stands when it comes to like this shit. But yeah, I don't know. I think both. I think the reason I think we can all probably agree that the reason why BTS has such success outside of making music that is genuinely their own and that doesn't come from just a machine, it comes from experience and it comes from just being transparent. They have connected with people and those people have switched and become literally an army that's behind BTS. So I don't think we'll ever that's not something BTS ever has to worry about. Even if we get to a point where BTS is not the forerunner of the genre, because I say this shit all the time. I don't think that BTS is quintessentially K-pop anymore. I don't think they have been probably ever since maybe Love Yourself, maybe even before that. I think once they started making literally moves in the West, they stopped being solely a K-pop specific thing. They've exceeded it. They're in the realms of like the Taylor Swifts, the Beyoncés, the Billie Eilishes. They're in those spaces. They're charting those kinds of numbers. So you can't really compare them, and nobody really needs to. There's no need to compare them to anybody else because everyone else brings their own thing to whatever genre they're in. But yeah, I think it's both. I think you have to know what your audience wants. You know what I'm saying? But you can't succumb to that just to sell a record. You have to still be genuine. You have to still because that's what captivated you in the first place as a fan. It wasn't like the cutesy stuff. Even when like we would talk about like the beginning of their story, like 11 years ago almost, when they were debuting and they were something that wasn't necessarily authentically them. They were doing things to kind of appease a certain genre or a certain group of people or just to captivate in general, because that's also where K-pop was. It was very hip hop forward at that time. But when they broke from that, really School Love Affair was kind of the first change from that particular concept. And then we got the HYH series. That's when obviously I think we all agree that's kind of when they started really amassing like this, like, oh, these guys are special. These guys have something that these other groups don't have, whatever it is. And maybe you didn't know that then that time, but they just had something different. And that's when the core foundation, I think, of their fandom grew. And then they just kept being genuinely themselves. Like, regardless if people like it or not, they never steered away from what they felt was like authentic music to them. Because you cannot ride trends all the time. That's the problem with K-pop. K-pop is very trend forward. And that's why we have so much similarity between songs, because now K-pop companies know that, okay, this will trend, but it won't last. Trends don't last. So that's very long-winded, but I mean,
no, it's fine. That's why I brought you on here, because I can't get into music and talk about music and the death like y'all can. So no, I encourage this. I also want to add on to your point. I mean, this is just coming from me, but at this point, and I felt like this for a while, like I don't think BTS truly ever was a K-pop group. I just felt like there was a group that had to be in K-pop in order to see some type of succession, even from the beginning. Like I would have to go back and like actually look at other groups, because I don't know what other groups were doing when they debuted, but I don't even think the form of hip hop was the same as other groups. Like, yeah, they would touch it, but I don't think it was to the level that BTS was doing, even with like the lyrics and like the things they were talking about, things of that nature.
I was just going to bring that up. I was just going to say, like, if you look even early on, the collabs that they did, especially Namjoon, he collabed with Wale. He collabed with like real like hip hop artists and writing with them and collabing and working
even
with
his
them.
First mixtape.
Yeah.
Like he collabed with a hip hop artist, Chris Calico.
And you even see that with who they choose to idolize. It's sometimes K-pop, but a lot, like they idolized Usher, you know, they idolized J. Cole, like artists that were really making impact in the music that they were making at the time and even now. And like we have been watching American Hustle Life, Simone, together, and just seeing who they worked with in that show and the connections that later came into play later, just watching them interact, you could tell the respect that they had for, you know, the opportunity to be in the same room as them. So I think they always were a step more forward with the kind of music, and they had a very strong vision of where they wanted their future to go. Maybe not perfectly a perfect plan, but they knew the artists that they wanted to be in the same room with and feel equal, or feel like they could approach them and say, hey, do you want to work together? Because it's just like we're seeing the full circle now with the solos. Like I know for Hobie, like J. Cole was a huge moment for him because he took such inspiration. And to see them in the same music video, to see them on a song. And I love these moments that we're seeing now, because they were never K-pop, as we're saying, but I think they always like kept not K-pop in their mind because of just the steps they took with their career and who they worked with.
As well as taking the time to be respectful and to truly actually study the culture that they were borrowing from.
That's one thing that I think they need huge credit for, is they actually truly educate themselves on, you know, the history, the culture, the artists that they're trying to work with. They're actually fans of these artists. They're not just out here, you know, picking whoever's hot right now or whoever's getting the biggest views. Like Namjoon picking Lil Sims. You know, Lil Sims is not like, she's known in the UK, she's doing really well. But for a group at BTS's level, if they were just trying to get somebody who was going to pull in some numbers, you wouldn't have gone for Lil Sims. But he's obviously a fan of Lil Sims. And that's why I respect Namjoon's choices, because Namjoon doesn't care what we think when it comes to who he's collabing with. He cares about who he's collabing with and what art they can make together. And that's why I know when that man puts his work into creating a project, whether you enjoy it or not, whether it's your thing or not, you're gonna, like Gina said, you're learning about him, and it's an education into who he is. So even if you're not feeling the music, educate yourself on your fave. Like, this is somebody that you claim to love as an artist. Hear his story. But yeah, I'm sorry, Shay was going to say something. I just wanted to
I was going to actually touch the point of what you were saying about like Namjoon collaborating with Lil Sims. Lil Sims didn't shock me because, well, Lil Sims had a very good monumental record in 2021. Something about an introvert. I don't know exactly what the thing, but it was like acclaim with Rolling Stone. So that one didn't shock me. What shocked me was Moses Sumney, and it shouldn't shock me because like he's listened and he's recommended so much of his music.
He's recommended so many Moses.
Yeah,
that's like, how I found Moses.
Yeah. And I've been listening to Moses Sumney like probably since 2014. So like, yeah, it was so like, I don't know why I was so shocked, because I'm not shocked in a way of like, oh my God, because obviously let's just call it spade a spade. These men could legit collab with whomever they like. They are big enough to pull the littlest of little. I mean, look at what, Tay did with drawing a blank. What's her name? Yeah, like, I'm not saying that she's not popular, but she's not like a huge artist. But the connections they're making are so authentic. It's not just I want to collab with like the biggest names in the industry, which would be nice. Of course, like I said, like you said, with Hobie collabing with J-Hope, that was a big moment. It was a big dream, a big accomplishment. But the fact that they'll still go to the little guys and the people that aren't as known, or the people that don't have like the push of like a big company, that's just letting people know that sometimes it doesn't matter how big you get. When you're a humble person genuinely, and you know where you came from and you know how you started and you stay like close to your roots, you will always be like an artist. You know what I'm saying? I would like kind of saying a girl's girl, like an artist. You will always, because I think they genuinely do like look for music. They go, because I mean, again, they have a whole SoundCloud era. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like BTS has a whole SoundCloud era. So anybody who has like SoundCloud, anyone who has SoundCloud knows like the starving artist type shit. It's like, you're never gonna forget your roots, you know? And so I'm glad that they still like reached down instead of trying to reach up all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
His Namjoon's first mixtape is still only on SoundCloud. So
hey, listen.
It's never coming off. That man,
it ain't never coming off.
I know.
Got to see the light of day.
I know he don't, but it's fine because I downloaded it and I still listen to it either way. Gina knows I'm to this day, like I don't care how old I get, I'm still obsessed with it. And I feel like it goes into what we'll talk about a little bit later for his album as well. And especially the theme of like going back full circle. But real quick before we move on, because I know we kind of like
I like that,
but it's fine.
Okay, we're doing good.
Trajectory of what?
Yeah.
Our conversation. I feel like it's all.
Oh yeah, no, this is great.
Circle.
It's all going to tie back into the conversation.
Okay, I know what you're going to ask. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah. Are we going to talk about Jin?
Not yet. I was going to ask Shay because she didn't even get a chance to talk about Jungkook's song "Never Let Go."
Oh,
so I needed to get her opinion, and then
I was letting everybody else do it. You know, like I'll be transparent. Like, isn't my favorite JK song? No, but I do think what JK has is an ability to really connect with his fan base. I think no matter what, especially when, like we said, when it comes to the FALESTA songs, he has such an ability to put something out that like, I know that he cried at least once in that booth. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know that for a fact, but I feel like he shed at least a little tear because he's very in tune with his
crying in the booth.
He's crying in the booth. And
I know they got red.
You know, because I don't know when this was recorded as far as like the time. Obviously, it was closer to like him leaving. So there was already the emotion of him going. I just feel like, it was something that like, this song was not meant for, in my opinion, to be like the next number one stream of charting. This was like, this is my gift to ARMY because I want them to know no matter if you see me or not, I ain't went nowhere. We're still locked in. And I think that's a beautiful trait of an artist. I've always admired JK for the way that he connects with his fandom. I know a lot of people feel like, oh, well, he does it. And shut up. Just because your favorite doesn't love you the way JK loves us, don't be mad. Talk to your fucking fave. Talk to your fave. Your fave is doing it for the fan service. Our faves love us for real. Get you an artist that loves you the way you love them. So,
I mean, we in this parasocial thing together, okay?
Right.
What he say, we're never letting go of each other.
Right. I think the song was good. I think it was. I just feel like, it wasn't nothing to do with JK. I just feel like it wasn't the caliber that I'm used to with like their projects. I don't know if it's who they use as far as like production. It's more on the production side more than in him. And I was looking at like the people that were like on the production. I was just like, okay, like I get it. Like I get it. I'm still vibing to it, but like I was like, yeah, this isn't like up to par with like the stuff that I'm used to. But again, I don't think it was meant for like the charting. I think it was like this is just a gift. You know what it felt like? It almost felt like a response to. What's that song called that ARMY did?
Love letter song.
Yeah.
That was a response.
This is my vision. He heard that night. He was crying into his pillow with his notebook out, writing the lyrics back. That's what he did.
That's what I think. That's honestly what I think happened. Yeah. I honestly think that's what it was.
It's like the greeting card he wrote.
as soon as I heard it, I was like, this sounds like a response to Army's song. He was like, y'all not gonna outdo me. I'm the artist. Okay. Like, so he's like, I'm gonna get a studio today. I was like, hey, listen. So yeah, but yeah, it's good. I do enjoy the song, and I do. But yeah, I knew it was gonna be like one of those little like tearjerker, like cute things. I didn't know it was gonna be so like EDM, like electronic forward, but he's in that bag lately. So
Could it be Shay? Because I know you struggled a little bit to kind of like figure out how you felt about Golden. I think when you came to a place of like understanding what you were thinking, it was in a certain songs just didn't really hit for you. And like you said, you're a big like music head. Like you're someone you're all about production. You want to know who's behind it. You're very intricate. And I love that about you. I think you're a true music lover. Do you think that maybe JK's solo sound, because like you said, he is in that EDM bag, child.
Yeah.
He is in that EDM bag. Because even the Never Let Go reminds me of a couple of the joints on Golden.
It does.
Like that kind of vibe. Do you think you're probably not really feeling JK's current vision and sound? You think that's just, because that's okay. Like, I keep trying to explain to people who are struggling because they don't like Namjoon's new project. They're in my DMs saying, Jen, am I a bad fan? And all this. Like, how did you deal with not, really feeling Golden like that? Yeah. I keep telling these people, of course you love Namjoon, just because it's okay to not like. It has to
not vibe with something.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I also be honest?
Please.
Since it's been out for a while, I am also on the train of not really feeling Golden as an album. I have my favorite, like 7, but other than that, and like Please Don't Change, I don't really actually listen to it that much out of the rest of them.
Yeah, I think it's like this. When it
Wait, what?
To like
I was shaking my ass to that song this morning.
I do love
that is my jam.
Honestly, no, Simone, please. Like, I've heard this from so many people, and a lot of people do struggle, with, being able to say it out loud type of thing, because they don't want to look like they're hating, and it's not hating, it's music, and we're all
I'll be very, very transparent. It's not even JK. Like, honestly, all of the songs that have come post them going to the military, like Jimin's like fan song, I listened to it a couple times, but I don't see myself going back to it. I don't know. With this situation, with the fan songs that have came out post military, I don't think it's because I don't like them. I feel like I got what I needed from it, and I don't need it anymore. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, it's for me, it's like, and we'll talk about the Golden thing real quick. With Golden, it was a grower. It was a grower, not a shower. So like, for me, Golden at first, it didn't hit like I thought it was, because I think I had such a high expectation based on all of the things that were surrounding Golden. You know what I'm saying? We had DJ Snake, we had Major Lazer, we had all these things, and I had to clock myself from that, because I'm like, I'm not really here. Although I do love those producers, those artists, and all that, that's not what I should have been focused on at first. Like, I should have been focused on, this is not a Major Lazer project. This is not a DJ Snake project. This is not a, XYZ project. This is a JK project. So let me dial back, listen to it from that perspective. And I did. And what my issue, I think, was in the beginning was just, I didn't feel like JK at the time. I didn't really feel the connection with him in that music. It literally felt like he was singing the songs, but there was no connection. Kind of like how, like, Stay Alive and Still With You and My You, those were connected to him. And it might be because he had his hands in them, but that's not all. Because like, the man will sit on Alive for hours singing songs, and he connects with them. I don't know what it was at the time, but what I realized was, like, for me, I think because it was such a anticipated thing, everybody was so ready for him to have like this major, like, English, and it was all English. And that's what it pissed me off about, when people were like, Oh, it's all but that's what y'all bitch and moan about all day about him too in English song, whatever. But it's fine.
Like, I mean, they also bitch and moan in like
too.
their lives, like speak in English, and now you're upset that he's singing in English.
I had my issues with people and some of their logic with that whole release. So like, I was just, as much as I was like dealing with my own shit, I was like, y'all don't make no sense. At least if you be consistent, at least if you want him, whatever. But anyway, like I don't think it's not necessarily. I don't like where he's going because I'm a person that I enjoy growth. I have been with artists for decades and they have made so many different choices, not even just to like do like try to like take away from what we're talking about, but like Beyonce is, everybody knows, I know everybody has feelings about her and that's fine. But just as an artist, that woman has been through so many different personalities in her music and not everything I like. This last album she dropped, it's good, not my fave, but like it's not, some things are just not for you. And it doesn't take away from everything else that they've done. But I think with the fan songs particularly, this is also saying like, again, Jimin's fan song he came out with after he went to the military, JK's Never Let Go. I don't know if I would consider Friends a fan song because it does seem more like that song seemed more like, that one to me seemed more like it could have been on Layover. Like it was fitting the vibe of that whole thing.
That's my favorite take. Solo song.
That one, the new one.
I really like Friends. Yeah, I don't think it was a fan song. I wouldn't count it as a.
I don't think
song.
so either.
That's gay
I don't think
song.
It was. it was him saying down up with the gays. I just think when it comes to the fan song, and like that's like me saying also like the Army fan song. That's not on repeat for me either. Those songs, I think they do what they do for me in the moment. I absorb them. I love them for what they are. I take it for what it is, and I move forward with that. So. I do love Golden. Let me wrong. Golden is probably out of the solo project. If I had to put them in order, it would probably be Indigo, D-Day kind of share the number one spot, and then Golden for me. Like, so it's right there. I just, like Indigo and D-Day are like, they interchange a lot, but then Golden's like my second favorite album of the releases. I go back to it. I don't realize, but I do go back to it. I think I'll even a lot more lately than I do anything else. I don't know if it's because it's in English. I don't know if it's because right now I'm kind of in that vibe of just wanting to hear like electronic, because I am in kind of an electronic vibe here lately. I've been listening to a whole lot of like EDM and electronic funk and even like UK girl and stuff like that. I go through my cycles of just like what I'm into, what I listen to. So yeah, I don't think it was so much of like, I don't like where JK's going. I'm always... I'm down for whatever they want to do. I really am. I love that, they can be experimental. I would absolutely love to see JK do some, honestly, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I would love to see JK do like a little bit of like a hip hop rap forward album. Just not even an album, just give me like 2 or 3 songs where you just spit bars. Just spit some bars.
For years for rapper JK to please resurrect.
Just give me a couple bars
happen.
and shit.
Yeah.
Here's how it's going to happen. Namjoon will happen. Like, yo, babe, do you want to do this? And he's like, yeah, babe.
Yeah, JK's so bad. So down bad.
He won't write it. If he starts rapping, Namjoon will write it for him. Namjoon and Yoongi will produce it.
Yep.
But I need like a little EP, like a little 4-track, 2-track, little joint.
Just give me a couple of bars. JK's. Talk your shit. Pop your big one.
Just pop it.
Yeah, pop your big one. Let them know. Give me something I can shake my ass to. You know what I'm saying?
That would be so great. That would be iconic.
Yeah. JK has the ability to be a chameleon, which is what I find. Yeah. That's why I think he's the most easily accessible member out of the 7. I think people have a hard time connecting with
it 4.
Well, I mean, it's fitting. It's fitting, like, but no, like I think he does fit. Yeah, he is like a real artist when it comes to like the all-rounder conversation. He connects with fans. He's definitely into the music side of things and the production side. Like he's curious. And so with his curiosities and the things, and he's always so eager and willing to learn and to push himself. He's very competitive, we know. So I think he will always strive to do something that's going to be out of the box. And the problem with that is what comes with that is uncomfortability of the fandom. Not everybody's going to be able to understand and to like latch onto that, because we're seeing it with Namjoon, right? And tying it into like Namjoon's album.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like it, which I get. I knew when I heard Come Back to Me in D-Day on the D-Day tour. I said, oh, that's not gonna whatever's coming is not gonna be for accolades and charts. But I guarantee, listen, if nothing else is Grammy nominated, baby, anyway, we'll get into that later. But anyway, we're gonna move forward. Let's move forward now.
But I will say the fan song that I listen to the most, though, that I don't know if it's a fan song, but to me it's a fan song. The Astronaut is the one that I listen to literally all day, every day. I listen to that song at least twice a day. It's always
I would
playing.
consider The Astronaut a fan song.
It is like the contemporary fan song that can translate to the radio if they allowed that to happen.
Yeah, and when you mention that, I can also say like The Astronaut is also another one that I took what it was, and I don't go back to it much.
Oh my God.
I don't know, and that might just be it. May be me disconnecting. I might chop it up to like it's something that reminds me too much of the pain of them leaving. So maybe when they're all back,
performance. Like I can't
maybe
watch
when they're all back, I'll feel differently. Yeah, maybe when they all come back.
I can't do that, but I can listen to the song and be fine. But if I have to watch Coldplay and him perform it, I lose my shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm on the floor, like sobbing in fetal position. Like I can't do that.
Well, it don't take much for you. You know what I'm saying? The wind blows so hard, and, you'd be like, what? It's fine.
Oh my God. Listen, if Gina sees a leaf fall, maybe she'll turn into Namjoon and write like the biggest hit in the world. So we'll see.
Use that emotion for some money, girl.
Me and Namjoon are gonna write a song. That's like my dream. I would love to do that.
And you better invite me to that studio once that happens.
If there was like a contest, if there was a raffle for that, I would be signing up. I would be finding like all the fake bot accounts to sign up because literally that's like my dream.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. I've already expected this to be very long, so I hope y'all did too. Because I
got my water, so we good.
Okay, so speaking of Jin, he is coming home. Like we said earlier, it's 72
Come on,
hours. I hope to post this on Tuesday, so I'm not sure how long that will be when I post it. But yes, and then on June 1st, we also got like an announcement with FALESTA that he is actually going to be there straight out of the military. He's like, all right, let's get to work. So there's going to be two special events. The first one is Message from Jin, which is kind of like the same title of the video messages that we were getting from him while he was gone every month. But this time it'll be like a showcase. So like they say show Army like what we've been missing. What does that mean? I have no idea. But that's going to be
take his shirt off because I'd be down for that. I'd be missing that.
I don't know if we're ready for that, Gina. I mean,
his military body. I mean, I'd be missing it. I don't see it. He's been working on it.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, you're not going to be one of the lucky ones to see it in person because another part of that event is getting to meet Jin. But not only do some fans get to meet Jin, they get to have a light hug or handshake if you don't want to hug him. And when I first saw that, I was like, I do not want to hear the word hug until June 16th. Do not say the H-U-G word around me, okay? Because what do you mean? And then I'm sitting there like, Kim Seokjin. We're talking about the same Jin, right? Like this isn't a different Seokjin. This is BTS Seokjin that's getting hugs. I just want to make sure I'm not confusing my Seokjins. I know that's a common name.
The leader of the anti-delusional committee, like he's the one out here. Like who thought? Like, okay.
I don't even know if he likes to be touched like that.
No.
And I was like, Jin?
Like I know we've been saying they're gonna come out differently, but we didn't know it was gonna like be like a whole 180. God damn! Like
if this was any other idol group or company outside of like Big Hit, I would be thinking, is this person like if that person was Jin's like the same personality as Jin, I'd be thinking, is he being forced to do this? But because this is Big Hit, I know for a fact this is Jin's idea.
Yeah.
This is
1,000%.
That man come out of the military wilding from the gate.
He walked
from the
up
gate
one day and he was like, you know what? I have a great idea for FALESTA. He called up a Big Hit and like, yo, I have this idea. think you should set it up, get Mr. Lee on speed dial, because we are going to have me hugging people, and not like
Listen, I don't even think he
either.
did that. I think he sent a letterhead with Gen Hit Entertainment on it. Was like, this is what's happening.
Yes.
So let's get everything situated. I don't even think he even. Don't ask permission. You ask for forgiveness, and he ain't even doing that shit either. So like,
lucky 10 people. It's not like lucky number 7 people. It's like 100 or so people.
The hugging is supposed to last. They're predicting it to last for at least 3 hours. Yeah. They have slated at least 3 hours for him to hug people.
Insanity.
And it's not even. The security is going to be insane.
Oh yeah,
insane.
I just want to see how it's gonna. I just want to see it. I don't know if I would even want to be there because I already know it's going to be I already know like Big Hit's not going to take no risks, no chances. They are going to make sure everything moves accordingly and swimmingly. I just want to see how long that line going to be.
They will like exactly how to hug. I don't think this is going to be as natural of a moment as I would like it to be, because like there are risks and there are crazy people out there. I think it's going to be very controlled, a little bit like the high touches and the fan meets or fan signs. Even there's going to be like somebody stood right there, all up in your grill, watching you hug Jen. Keep a certain, it's like a floating hug. I don't think they're gonna be touching any body parts. It's just gonna be. I hope Jin proves me wrong. I hope Jin grabs his fans and gives them a little cuddle, but I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think it's just gonna be very, like okay, yeah.
What is Jin's MBTI? He's extroverted, yeah.
No, he's introverted. Dang it, I forgot. I feel like I can look it up real quick, but no, he's definitely an I.
Is he?
Yeah, he's
I don't
introverted.
Remember. Listen, I barely know what day it is, let alone to keep track of their damn shit.
That's fine. Also, I do remember reading. They kind of explain how they're doing it because they're gonna have like a little setup for people to like sit to like wait and I guess give them numbers and stuff. And it's like when it's this row's turn, they'll get up, go and hug Jin. And it was very strict too, because it talked about like, if you do anything to like think they need to kick you out, like they will kick you out and like you can't even take your stuff because you have to leave your stuff at your seat. So they'll kick you out and like you can leave your phone and wallet in the seating area. So
push. Will that get me kicked out if I pinched his butt? I don't know.
I mean, if you do it to where no one sees
worth it.
So Jen,
I will go down in Army freaking history. I got kicked out of the event.
Jen is INTP.
INTP. I don't know what any of those letters mean.
So he's introvert, and he's what else? He is personal.
He's it's introvert in. What is it? It's because it starts with an I.
So he's definitely introverted.
No, I'm saying like the N, actually the word starts with I. It's it's not intrusive. It's not introspective. Oh my God, why don't I know this?
I don't know.
Oh gosh, hold on. What is he again? Say it again.
INTP.
Well, while Shay's doing that, I also have another question because I'm kind of confused on how the showcase is supposed to be because like, are the people that are hugging Jin going to watch the showcase? Because like when I kept reading it, I didn't think so. It seemed like it's a separate thing to where after the hugging, like he will go off maybe to a different place. It is separate. Okay, so he's not going to have an audience.
Winning.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. He's introverted. Intuition is what N means. You said T, thinking and perceiving.
Yeah.
So all that
sounds like
really that even confuses me even more, to be very honest. But you know what? Those things to me, I don't really take too much stock into the zodiacs and the stars.
Time. And so Mr. Alone Time playing video games is hugging people. Just think about that.
I mean, to be fair, he hasn't been around Army in almost 2 years, so maybe he's a little touch deprived. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, it is separate events.
But I mean, if they're calling it a showcase, I'm wondering what are they going to be giving us? Like, we're not going to get performance of any kind, or will Jin sing something? Like, if he sings, like, I will lose it. Oh my God,
I'm gonna lose my damn mind.
But I would be so beautiful if he was able to sing something. I'm sure he's probably worked on his vocals. They have a lot of downtime from time to time in the military. Maybe, I don't know, because I don't know, Simone, did you see that Coldplay are releasing an album? The timing is just kind of crazy. They just,
yeah.
And I'm just wondering, maybe him and Chris might have something up their freaking sleeve. Maybe Jin might be on this new Coldplay album.
The notice did say like he's doing like performances that Army have been waiting for. And then I saw updated ones talking about, I guess he'll talk about being in the military, whatever that means. I know he ain't going to say too much. So I don't know what type of stories. I mean, I expect that.
I'd be like,
he's gonna. We all know what he's gonna do. This man finna get up there, and it's gonna be the biggest fucking super tuna like flash mob that ever was.
That's what's gonna happen. So bad. Don't even tease that.
He's gonna get up there and lead all his little tunas in a flash mob of super tuna. Yeah, that's what I guarantee you. That's what's gonna be it.
Honestly, if he performs the astronaut, I'm not gonna be okay. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna bawl.
Because he's funny, and like I just feel like he's not going to want it to be big sentimental. He's going to want it to be fun. I really do think he might even pull out like all the stops. But I really do feel like it's going to be. I feel it in my gut. It's like going to be a big super tuna flash mob.
Military, can he drag JK and Jimin and how he made them do push-ups all day?
Probably.
Like he could tell me about that. I would laugh. Like I was their boss.
I mean, he is like he's
FALESTA did a great performance.
Yeah.
So I could see if he was to do the astronaut, it would be a good closer. Maybe the way to close the night out.
Yeah.
That. And it would literally be the second time he's singing it on a live stage. Isn't that crazy? That song is how many years old now?
I think if they say it's something we've been waiting for, I feel like that would be such a special thing for FALESTA to have, like the sad version. Okay. And then the happy version of him being back, like to kind of cleanse our palates of that song. So it's like not so painful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I wish he would just end it with Super Tuna because I wouldn't be crying. So
he's gonna start it with Super Tuna. That's how he's gonna get the crowd.
He's got to start it. He's got to get the crowd hype. It'll probably end up being a lot like when V did the layover meet and greet, where like have all the like games. He probably does. It's probably going to look a little bit like that, I think.
There's game show, Jin. I'm down. Just make games all day.
But I mean, Army's going to be there.
Imagine him making Army do ridiculous games on stage and laughing at them.
But that wouldn't happen if he's not having an audience, right? Because there wasn't a raffle to like watch him do the showcase just to hug him, unless the people that are hugging him are being the audience.
I don't know what the separate one was then for, because there was two raffles. There was the meet and greet and then like the hug thing. And is it just a meet and greet or was it to the showcase?
I didn't see a second raffle. I only saw one for
because there were two tiers of raffles, because this one girl had won and she said, I didn't win the hug, but I won this other raffle. So I guess there was two different tiers of the raffle.
Oh, I'm unaware of that.
How did they do last Fester's? What did those people buy tickets, or was there a raffle done?
I think it was a raffle.
That was also a raffle. Okay, yeah, that's the thing about Fest. They don't charge us for anything. Everything's quite free. I kind of like that. They give everything away kind of for free. That's that one time in the year you can watch like paid for content for free, because like all the concerts during Bang Bang Con, a lot of those, some of us paid to watch.
Well, not for Jin, though. I don't know if you saw that, Jen. You do need the membership to watch his showcase.
Yeah, that's shitty. That's the shitty part.
No, yeah. And they have to do the cash grab because they know people are just going to do. Because for people like me, I don't do BTS membership because it's not worth my while. I don't want to pay the shipping charges. And I know they've got a global shop now, or a global something thing. It's still not that much cheaper, but I am gonna quickly just do the membership thing, so that I can
go ahead and succumb to the capitalistic nature.
I'm very upset about it for so long, and now they're gonna get me. They knew. They're not silly. I'm not silly.
No, Hyper not silly.
But it is what it is.
Ain't no good business. It's all.
Have you guys all got?
What'd you say?
Do you guys all have membership?
Mine did not. I didn't renew mine, so I'm gonna have to go and do that.
I do.
I do. Mine's not up until August, but I don't have the membership where it's like with the merch box. I
don't
just
have
the
that
membership.
Yeah,
I don't pay for the merch boxes. No, hell no.
So I only paid
care.
the $22 unless
I
just for the
minimum.
For the little
that's
virtual
it.
card. Yeah.
I don't need the merch boxes. I don't need it.
You don't need any more shit.
No shade, but I'm sorry. BTS's like merch that comes through Weverse, a lot of the time it's just terrible. I'm sorry.
It has gone down really badly.
The designs, the innovation of it, like, oh no, they're not even trying.
No,
not anymore.
People reviewing it, stuff fades, stuff's tearing, stuff's breaking. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, fan made merch has always been where it's at. So
yeah, I need to invest in that more. If I'm going to be honest, I think since like D-Day is when I noticed it's starting to go truly downhill. Not even just with design. I was hearing a lot like from people going on the tour of like just the materials of like anything, how it seemed really cheap. So
even Kobe Palooza, the stuff they had in the stand was not good quality. Like the sweatshirt I saw, they let me feel it and stuff. It was not good. It was very cheap. It wasn't going to keep you warm at night. Okay.
Now with Kobe Palooza,
tour merch is always like that though, because like even when I went to go see Kendrick, in LA, I always buy a hoodie. I buy my daughter hoodies everywhere I go. She's a hoodie girl, so I just buy her one. I bought her a hoodie. It's nice, but I don't know what it is about like tour clothing. Now, if they have other stuff like lanyards, I'll invest in stuff like that because it's like a lanyard or a keychain or something like that. Those are usually okay. But like clothes, nah, I'll just nah. Because I'm not also about to be out here just like constantly wearing tour shit. So I buy it for the nostalgia.
My son went to see Kendrick and the merch wasn't great. I went to see Kendrick. He came back with t-shirt and a hat, like the Big Steppers hat. That thing is so cheap. It was like crepe paper. And he paid nearly $60 for a hat that will fall apart eventually. He doesn't even wear it now. He just puts it up on a display thing. Yeah. I was like, what's going on?
I will even say, like, even the sound check packages for Yoongi's tour were not anything special. Literally, the only thing I still kept from when I was sound check was the lanyard. That was the only thing of value because it looked like a guitar pick and it was like his album cover, like the poster, and it's very well made. That was the only thing that was well made in that whole pack of stuff. Like there wasn't a poster, there wasn't a photo card, there was nothing of value. It was just
and see, y'all are also like not even trying to like be like that, but y'all are also like older stands when it comes to like y'all have been around with the boy bands for a long time. So the merch and stuff that y'all used to get back when y'all were, groupies. It was so different than like what
you try to sneak that in. You're like, groupies.
But it's true though. Like, I mean, you think about the way concerts have evolved over the last 10, 15 years or so. Like, there's no more like Jen is still down. They have no more like backstage VIP. Like, it's not the same.
Epic High actually, because I still need to buy tickets for them, but like they're having 3 tier lists, and like
I saw that
highest one, is like going backstage with them, going to soundcheck. You have your own separate like VIP merch.
Yeah,
they're also doing like for the photos, you can take a photo with like each member individually, as well as the group photo with Epic High, and like they usually put you like with 5 people. I was looking at the one where like I can get in like after VIP one. I still get a lanyard and like I can take the group photo with like the 3 of them and probably 5 random people because I'm probably gonna go by myself. But anyway, it's like there are still like groups still doing that, but it's just especially with K-pop they're not because like this new send off.
How much is the Epic High? How much is that? If you're able to say.
For the one because they're coming to Orlando, they're the only group that really comes to Florida. The highest one is. I want to say because they included the fees this time. It is a lot. It was like about 800 to 900 maybe, and the one that I was looking at was about 300. And then you have another tier which is about 177, but that's just to get in early. There's no like group picture, but you like get sound check. And then like standard ticket is like 60 something dollars.
It's affordable.
So can you imagine BTS offering that kind of perks in a package, like a VIP package? You get to come backstage, you get to meet each member, take a picture each. They would be charged. They already know
$2,000. $2,000.
Probably can't put a dollar amount on what they would have to charge fans. So that's probably why they don't even bother doing packages like that, because it would be obscene. It would be an obscene amount of money you're asking for people. So then maybe that's why they don't do it.
I will say Jackson's VIP package, I actually really liked what was in his. And what I really liked, he made a commemorative coin. Like each date had their own, and it's framed, and it's like so nice. Like it's like in protective, like, and it literally says your date and where it was. And I was like, Jackson, this is unique. I've never seen anyone do this, like huge ass medallion coin. I was like, this is really cool. So his was actually well done. Like he put thought into each date having their own so that they could be displayed. Because he forgets that we display those things. And I was like, this is smart. Like I actually really like this idea. And that's why I liked when Yoongi's merch later was the guitar picks with the dates and everything. That we want shit like that. To me, merch like that is worth having because it's a mystery. It has a date, it has a place. We know where we were. But like these random t-shirts and bandanas, like Yoongi's had like this bandana thing in his. I was like, what am I going to do with this?
That's the thing. I'm a fan, call me gaudy if you want. I like to be emblazoned. I need you to know who I stand when I walk in the room. I know that there are like new kinds of like stands who I need it to be subtle. Like they need their merch to be very subtle. Like it's a tiny little print in the corner, but the rest just looks like fashion. It just looks like clothes. No, thank you. I want to look gaudy. I want you to go, are you Army? Maybe I might make some friends in real life. You know what I mean? Like I want to.
Listen, like it's been amazing to me how many random people will come up to me because they notice I have BTS merch. Like I remember one time, and I felt kind of bad because like she kind of scared me. So like I feel like I was kind of acting standoffish. But when I went to Orlando with my friend Brianna, a girl kind of came up to us, was like, "So who's your bias?" I'm like, "What's she talking about?" And I looked at my bag. It was BT21. I'm like, "Oh yeah." BTS. I forgot. And I was like, oh, it's Namjoon. And then they started talking. I was like, I'm not used to random people coming up to me.
Lauren, socially awkward bag.
I very. Okay.
I know.
That also happened yesterday, random.
I
like
can't
when I went shopping.
See your ass in Texas to see how that's gonna play out.
I'll be quiet at first, but then I'll probably warm up a little. It just depends. So don't be shocked if like I barely talk at first, but I'll warm up.
The Chicagoans were like that, said that too, and then motherfuckers never shut the hell up. So we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, I may bother you a lot, Shay. So just be prepared for that.
I'm already used to it. It's fine.
But I do think that like I do like some subtle merch, but if I'm going to a show and I'm not decked out in something that advertises who I'm there for, then what's the point? Like I just got tickets to see Hanson again because I've been following Hanson since they debuted.
Oh my God,
I've been with them since they debuted. I have gone to every tour and I have not stopped. I'm literally going to their tour in October. I was 6 months pregnant when I went to one of their shows because I was not missing a tour. I was like, Jen, if I deliver this baby at this concert, I guess it's gonna happen. Like, I was in the pit too, pregnant. Just so you know, I was like there jamming. So like,
it couldn't be me.
So funny, so funny.
When they say, "Are you a lifer?" I am a lifer. Like, I'm gonna be pushing my walker down into the pit, okay, and still seeing BTS. They don't need to be afraid. I'm dedicated to the craft of like fandoms and fangirling. Like
that's so awesome.
Like I'm here. But yeah, I'm going to see Hanson again. I literally got tickets and I have merch from like when they first started. Like I made it into a crop top because it barely fits me because I got it when I was like a preteen. So it's now a crop top. Like I'm so dedicated. Like But yeah, like I feel like, and I have Hanson merch. I have like all kinds of stuff. Like I have
What you should end up doing is you should, once you like, if you just collect shirts from tours, you should make them into a blanket.
Seriously, I could.
That would be
Patch
cute.
them. That was something my mom used to do. Like she'll get like just stuff from that commemorative like shirts and stuff, and you can get them like sewn together for, or if you know how to sew, you can sew them together. I don't know how to do that shit, but we get to
my
make them
mother-in-law
like
does
blankets.
actually. But yeah, like I feel like it's cool to have merch that means something, and especially if you follow a group for a really long time. But I don't think you need to go above and beyond and buy every single thing, because not every single thing has like value to you and have sentimental worth to you. Like your most prized possession could be a little puffy RJ keychain that you keep on your purse that you got in New York City one day, or you went to Korea and bought. Like it could be the most small thing that may mean nothing to somebody else. But I think you need to be selective now with merch. I think people who buy everything, it's more of like a show of look what I can do, instead of, you know, like this is sentimental to me.
For sure.
And like even what Hybe and Big Hit are putting out as merch, like the whole monochrome thing, kind of loses this is special kind of. And I think, especially with tickets coming in our future, I think we know what those are going to cost. Like even just talking about what a meet and greet would cost if they ever did something like that. Like merch is not as important to me as experiences. Like I would rather have a shot if I pulled all my money together and get barricade at a BTS show and be able to see the sweat pouring down than have all the merch in the world. Like I want to see Hobie pelvic thrust finally in my face. Like I want that to happen. I would rather spend that money to get that seat than any merch in the world.
Yeah. That's something I've prided myself in with, like, when I've been raising my kid, we do experiences because, like, you know, with my job, I try to take her somewhere. I usually do. This year we weren't able to, just things happen and stuff, but I try to take her somewhere every year, have a weekend with her, have her experience. I've actually been doing it way before I got in truck driving. When she was little, first trip we went to was like Nashville. Even if it was just close, I want her to be well traveled because I didn't leave my state until I got into truck driving. Well, I didn't leave. If it didn't touch my state, I didn't leave. Like the first time I ever went to Florida was because I became a truck driver. You know, I never had a reason to. So now it's just like, now that I'm relatively well traveled in this country, now I'm like, all right, well, next stop, I need to go over to Europe and see Jen and Shannon and all the other people that I've met through it. And I need to go over to, you know, Japan so I can get my best anime. You know, I want more now. So like, that's my thing too. Like experiences will always trump over merch. Plus I live in a cubicle. I ain't got room. I got 2 big ass tubs full of albums that just sit in tubs. Like I'm not a merch person. I will definitely buy merch if it's functional. So like the Jimin glasses from Face, I use those because I'm an alcoholic. So like I use them like every day. Like not every day. I'm kidding. Don't drink alcohol. Don't be an alcoholic. But no, no. Like if it's functional, yeah, I do like things that are commemorative. Like we said, like the Yoongi guitar pick. I wasn't able to snag one because insanity. But yeah, I appreciate those like little commemorative pieces. But for me, it has to be functional. I don't care if it's gaudy. I don't care if it's subtle. It just has to be functional for me. Like I need to be able to like, okay, I'm going to use this. Because as I'm sitting looking at these 2 big ass tubs, I'm like, this would have been cute if I wasn't in this job. I had a shelf and could display them, but I can't display these anywhere in my truck. Like even I thought about like I could build a shelf. I'm not doing all that. I ain't doing all that. Like, so like I'm just sitting in tubs. Like, all right, every now and again, I'll pull them out, look at them, reminisce. But now they just kind of are taking up space. I'm just like, did I really? And it was a very impulsive, like 3 days that I bought almost every album. Don't recommend it. Don't fucking do it. It's not worth doing it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't do it. It's fine. They'll still be there. They keep saying we'll never. Yes, they will. They'll say the same albums I thought were never gonna. They're still fucking there anyway. But yeah, I think when it comes to like tour merch, like fan made merch is always going to be superior. And and their artist merch, I think, is very interpersonal. They put time and thought and effort in that. So that's something I would have, if I was interested in it, which I wasn't that time. I would buy that because I feel like that's something that they crafted, they thought about. So like, that's why JK's Lad is so popular, and like Hobie's little plant thing, and like all those things. And I even think even some of the solo merch can be interpersonal. I feel like Indigo's merch was pretty interpersonal for Namjoon, or at least I feel like with Indigo's merch, it really represented Namjoon and the essence of Namjoon for me. And some of the merch I was like, like for some of the solo parts, like, I don't know if this is like, maybe. I don't know. I'm still kind of salty that Layover we didn't get a PC of Yonsen, but it's okay. It's fine.
I know, missed opportunity.
I'm writing him today.
Freaking dog PC, damn it.
Like, damn it, we see you all the time. Give me a picture of that dog.
Might as well. He's basically the family dog for all of us.
Honestly, he's just as much my dog. Shit, I feed him. Real. Honestly.
I have pictures, like physical pictures of my old dogs. So it's like,
yeah.
Could have added that to the collection.
Pictures for himself, for his doggy album that he has of Tanny.
When we get to talking about Namjoon's album, I'm gonna talk. We gonna get there, but I don't know if any of y'all have gotten the album yet.
I have. Yeah.
We can do it now. Let's go ahead because we so far in. Let's go ahead and start talking about the album. I can do the introduction real quick. On April 25th, we all got this, surprise, the Weverse notification that Mr. Kim Namjoon himself, my bias, the leader, my man, was releasing his second solo album, Right Place, Wrong Person. And yes, it is technically considered like his second album because Indigo was the first one. Mono was actually considered a mixtape. And then, like I said earlier, RM mixtape. I don't know if it has a proper name, but that's still only available on SoundCloud. And it's never leaving SoundCloud, but it's okay. Me personally, I found a way to download it. So like I could listen to it whenever I want. But anyway, that it was going to be released on May 24th of this year. And then like for a majority of us, I know for me, I was like, I should have picked this up. But again, I'm not that type of army to like theorize or recognize things. Because how long did he have that Instagram opened up? Like when he left? Because he had it before he left. The RPWP Instagram that repeated, we're all like, oh, what is this for? Like, I don't think a majority of us realized it was for the album. I didn't.
Yeah. After a while, I did, but then, at the beginning, everybody thought it was like a reference to Pharrell Williams, which now we were so wrong. We were so wrong.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. It was. They were trying to figure out like what the letters meant, and of course, and because he did the article or the cover with Pharrell and Rolling Stone, and so they were supposed to be collabing. I don't know where that's at. Still wondering where that's at.
Either, but I kind of don't want that to see the light of day because Pharrell is his own.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. We'll just move forward. It's okay.
We're gonna keep going. We're not gonna get into that
because the list is long and gaudy.
Anyway,
what's wrong with Pharrell? What Pharrell do? We don't like Pharrell. He's
endorsing Zionistic things. So
I swear they all freaking are. I'm so
he held the concert to raise money.
Yeah.
Just this morning, not to derail, but Eric Nam, I saw he did an interview with Rolling Stone.
About it.
Oh, I made a video dragging his ass, and I said, "Don't post it, then. Hold your tongue." And that's
what did he do now? Because I stopped listening to him last year because of this whole Malaysia thing that happened. I talked about it on my podcast, but
the disrespect, and I officially unfollowed everything of his. But he popped up because he was on Rolling Stone Australia. He popped up. And he's talking about how the K-pop industry, the only reason, and those were verbatim his words, the reason that people in the West or the amount of fans that do love K-pop so much and that K-pop gets to, put on these amazing performances and, they outshine the West is because the idol companies provide the amazing equipment and the amazing spaces to train. And he basically was like glazing idol companies. And I'm sitting there thinking, when are you going to talk about, the overworking and the underpaying when it comes to Nugu groups? When are you going to talk about the downright abuse? When are you going to talk about the body dysmorphia that comes from abusive words from management? The extreme dieting. I was just like, this man's sitting here talking like idol companies are the best thing since sliced bread. and the West could never. The West are trash, and I'm sorry, to a certain degree, K-pop as an industry is also trash. We look at all the chemicals, and we look at all the crap that's going on right now, especially what's going on with what's happening in the world right now. K-pop has lost a lot of my respect. So sorry, I just had to say, because Eric Nam pissed me the fuck off this morning.
It's all right.
Listen, nah.
What?
Yeah, I had to do some digging, and like I did have to let him go last year because of the things that were happening around his tour and when it first happened and the way they were kind of silencing their fans. And yeah, no, he's kind of turning it to a J Park. Let's be freaking honest.
Oh my god. I mean,
and then now
troll, but
yeah,
Eric
he's leaning into the troll.
Yes.
But yeah,
Anyway.
Pharrell did a whole concert to fund, like
back in 2018.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh.
So yeah, we kind of
wow. Okay.
Simone and I were talking about how we hope that collab never comes out because that'd be a yikes for me.
Yeah,
it'll be a
very big yikes.
Eric Nam is also catching extra heat because he apparently is voicing Aang in the adult version of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I'll see how that goes because now they just keep messing with my show, and like I'm just so over it.
No.
I just
So
leave it alone.
Instagram was not tied to Pharrell because that would have been not good.
Yeah,
awkward.
I mean,
but that
and we still got the whole scooter thing, but
listen, we ain't even. I ain't even got the time or the dexterity to get into that. Like we all, at the end of the day, we still on boot the scoot. That's all that everybody need to know. We still hashtag boot the scoot.
Hashtag boot the scoot.
It's spicy up in here.
But anyway, Namjoon's album.
Namjoon's album.
Right? Like, should we just take turns in? Like, I mean, Simone, what do you need? Because we talk too much.
Well,
now we're gonna talk about this iconic album.
I'm gonna be here till wee hours in the morning.
Well, I don't want to keep y'all too long. I just want to point out real quick. We are just going to go through each song and basically talk about them, and like anything y'all want to talk about, you can bring it up. I did try to make the effort of going in like everyone that was credited as far as writing credits. The press release, like before the album came up, of like the descriptions of what the songs, like the themes were going to be. And I think that's it. And then it's just going to be a free for all of like how you guys feel about the songs. Before we get into that though, where is it? One of the Naver articles I do want to point out talking about right place, wrong person. A direct quote from it was that it deals with moments that feel like a stranger who doesn't fit in the place. RM contains this universal emotion that everyone has felt at least once in their life, and furthermore, a message that people who struggle to find an answer to this will sympathize with. And then the article also talks about like the curiosity of like Kim Namjoon as a human himself. And a direct quote from that article was, "This album started with RM's curiosity. If I hadn't taken this path, how would I be living today? A lot of emotions and questions arose here, and RM started working on the album with the belief that many people would sympathize if he sang these songs honestly." So, and then to get into like the YouTube of like that he did with Jimin from obviously BTS, a little mini Moni thing. Or was it? It was interesting to me because like the opening of it, Namjoon says that he thinks his album declares like the second chapter of RM because he believes everything has an expiration date, which I thought was interesting because I could see that, but I also don't really associate this album with him as like RM, if that makes sense. Like I just see it as a chapter, honestly, the first chapter or maybe second chapter of like Kim Namjoon. I didn't know what you guys thought of that. Whoever wants to go first.
Should I go? You want to go, Jean?
No, go ahead.
I think it's interesting what you say, Simone, that you don't see it as RM. I felt the exact same way. I haven't really viewed Namjoon's solo work since Mono. I haven't looked at him as an idol when I listened to Indigo and then now to Right Place, Wrong Person. I'm both those albums truly humanized him for me. Not saying that when they're idols they're not human, but they are up on a pedestal, they are beautified, they are perfection, they are all those things. I love Namjoon flawed era, Namjoon's broken and bruised era. Namjoon, I have a wound, come see my wound. Like literally sharing wounds with us. And because we're all damaged, in my opinion. I feel like as humans, we're all damaged. To get through life, you're gonna go through damage. And Namjoon let us know he's damaged too. And I was so thankful for this new album because his honesty and his rawness, it just, like I said, it humanized him for me. I'm a very damaged person. I have a lot of trauma in my past. You know, I come from I'm dealing with stuff even to this day. Every day of life is difficult. And to know that one of my faves, and Kim Namjoon, who the way I describe Namjoon to everybody on my TikToks is he is linear. He's not a bias. He is not a he is like he's something that just kind of he's inspirational. He is somebody who encourages me to do more with myself and express myself honestly. And so to know he's reached a point where he's not afraid to be like, yeah, you know, I did a thing, didn't go well. Yikes, you know, it's okay. I might be drinking a little too much. That's okay too. We've all been there. Well, I might have a cigarette or two. That's okay too. I mean, it's not okay, but it's okay, you know, in the grand scheme of life. Me having a couple of cigarettes because I had a stressful week or something, not a big deal. He's so human in this album. And he's having fun, which isn't that just the epitome of Kim Namjoon? Namjoon, even though he's the leader, and he has always been the person who's like the pillar, and he has to be sensible, and he has to do the translating, and he has to be on point at every event. He's also our like funny guy without knowing how hilariously funny he is. He's a walking meme, and I think he got to be a meme in this album. He's just a whole ass human meme.
Did. And I love it so much because I always try to point out like the goofy side that I see of Namjoon because I just feel like that is like one of the things that attract me to him as far as like being my bias. It's like he does try to hold back a little bit, but like when it comes out, it comes out. Kind of like what Jimin says is like sometimes you like see him as a child because like his child tendencies come out. And it's like I just like when he shows it because he's just a boy in a big body that he doesn't know how to. It's literally a golden retriever. Like when they grow up, it's like they still think they're a puppy. That's literally what it is. They don't know, like, they're not small enough to, like, not sit in your lap anymore, like, things like that. So I really enjoy that. And I'm just happy he was able to, like, see or show his goofy side. Because I had also said, I forgot what episode it was, somewhere in my podcast when we talked about Indigo when it released. But, like, I had said, like, I wondered if Indigo was going to be, like, a mix of, like, his first mixtape and Mono together. And it was, but then like with Right Place, Wrong Person, I still kind of feel that way, but I feel like it's a little bit different because when they would talk about in the video how like it seemed like he was holding back in Indigo still, like I can see that now. I feel like Indigo was like still kind of RM as BTS to where like he's getting a little bit more truthful, but he's still holding back because at the end of the day, he still kind of has a Ooh, Simone, can you speak? What am I saying? Reputation. Yes, thank you.
English is hard. It's okay. English is hard.
Yes. And so, like, with Right Place, Wrong Person, I feel like it goes back to the full circle. This is a line a lot more like his actual first mixtape, because especially back then in like 2015, I think they were still in a place where he can still kind of be more open and like be able to separate like BTS RM or Rap Monster at the time with like Kim Namjoon. And of course, even in his first mixtape, he was still trying to like show himself as Rap Monster, but it was a little bit different and he didn't have to worry, I feel like, too much about it affecting BTS's reputation compared to like now. But he's at a point where like he kind of doesn't want to do that anymore and he's over and he's like wants to show that he's human. So that's why I say like Right Place, Wrong Person is like chapter 2 of Kim Namjoon, not of RM. So
nice. Yeah, I like that.
Gina, you want to go?
I feel like even his mixtapes to me, I've always, and he said this too, that it's very much like his diary at the time. It's like his person going through whatever he's going through. And so I actually, before this album came out, I listened to everything chronologically. Like I listened to his mixtape, I listened to Mono, I listened to Indigo. And I always felt like Indigo was such, even though there were songs that weren't as soft sounding and everything, I always felt that Indigo was a like prologue to what he was really feeling. I always feel like we want to dip our toes in before we talk about something really heavy and something really like real. And sometimes we're not ready to talk. So, like Indigo, with him trying to figure out how am I going to say the things I really want to say? Because he wasn't really predicting that he was going to have, the next album. But I think as he was going through the songs for Indigo, I always felt like Change Part 2 could have been longer. Like he stopped himself. Granted, he was drunk at the time he recorded that, but I feel like he could have added so many other words because you could tell he was going through something in that song. Like there were things that he left unsaid. And I was like, I wonder, and then he started talking about, oh, I've started doing something else now. And it's going to be different from Indigo. And so that was like my first indication of like, this was definitely a prequel. He was leading up to everything because I feel like there is a lot of speculation that came with Indigo, like with Namjoon on a personal level. There was a lot of things that people were reading into of a romantic relationship that he probably had. And like, that's always a touchy subject because there are those who don't like to think of their idols in a way that there could be very personal relationships, of that nature. And I think this album was his Jack in the Box, essentially, like him breaking out and saying, those things that you think about me, some of them and a lot of them aren't true because I have control of that. But like, it was also him coming out and saying, yes, there are relationships, essentially. Like there was a relationship there. This is who I am as a man. This is me not wanting to be an idol anymore. And you can say, oh, this is just speculation, but Namjoon, even though these lyrics were not as eloquent as some of his other works, this was him shouting. This was him enunciating who he is at this time. And like the music really does reflect the chaotic nature of his brain. Like there's a reason why he says this is Namjoon's brain in the very first video that he put out for this album, because there was a lot of chaotic energy going on in his life. And like I said, it's like having a personal conversation. This album was not maybe received in the way that we all thought, or it wasn't, he didn't present it in the way we all thought, but it makes so much sense for him to say, I'm just a dude and I'm pissed off right now. I'm frustrated. Like I have problems just like you. Like, even if you think that I don't hear you judging me, just like, like he's so aware. Before he was like using like gloves and like soft hands, but now the gloves are off and he really is manhandling us. Like he
Smacking
really
bitches.
is. Like, yeah, he's saying motherfucker, bitches, judging me for this shit. Like,
Is it bad that I missed him saying bitch? I was kind of low key like, yeah.
But like,
That's very anti-feminist of you, Simone.
Listen, I know it is, okay? I admit my fault, okay? I ain't perfect.
I can just see the femininity just leaving your body as he was like, yeah, I get it. I understand. Listen, I get it.
That's why, because in his first mixtape, Monster, I remember I played it in the car with my friend Precious, and there's a part where he's like, my music's not everyone, specifically not for you, bitch. And my friend looked at my radio so hard, and she's like, who is he calling a bitch? And I'm like, that's Precious, no, calm down. And she's like, you probably like that anyway. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
I've always thought of like them, like when any, and I know, like, of course, that word has such a, depending on who you are, right? Because like me, I'd be like, it just comes out almost like a universal greeting. I think of Cat Williams when he was like, I say bitch because I don't know your name individually. That's exactly how I feel. I've always seen that word. So like, for me, I get why people feel like, I get it, especially when it comes from a man. I understand, trust and believe. But for the majority of it, it's just like, I hate to be like the person that like, this is just how rap is, but that's just how rap is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. In the same way that when you hear a country song, you know you're going to get like the banjo like sounds. It's just something that, and if you want a conscious, like, empowering rapper, there are rappers that do that don't have to like, I mean, hell, Will Smith exists. You know what I'm saying? And that man never cussed in any song. And he was widely, had a lot of fame, widely popular. There are artists that don't have to resort to like very graphic or violent lyricism. But sometimes the nice words don't cut it when you're trying to get a point across. Sometimes you need a bitch. Sometimes you need a motherfucker.
At this point, it's gender neutral too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like sometimes you have to like, this is what I mean. And it's like a really big period at the end of your sentence. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's really, you can't, people just cannot take everything so literal because that man is also very much down with the feminine movement. Like he changes, you know what I'm saying? Like he changes his entire like mindset because of how Army reacted to him and some of the lyrics that he had early on. So the man's educated. He's not ignorant. But it's an art. It's part of an artistic expression. And if you don't like that, that's understandable. You do not have to subject yourself to something you don't like. But you cannot also in the same breath dictate the way somebody expresses themselves artistically with their own fucking story. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like that's just what it is. And I get it. Like I understand. I mean, we knew right away what this was as soon as KBS put out and said none of these motherfuckers are eligible.
7 out of the 11 songs are banned.
Like, damn, the whole album, except for what Credit Roll, I think was the only one that was like, and that an outro.
I don't think he cusses in Heaven or like Heaven, Come Back to
maybe.
Me.
Yeah. So
that's because I knew he wasn't talking about me. When he said bitches, I'm like, oh, he's not talking about me.
Right. Like if it offends you, then what are they saying nowadays?
Yeah, exactly. If
hurt dog hollers,
you are taking offense.
If the boot fits, they just lace that boot up and ride it. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
About me. No, if he said the hot bitches, then I know he's talking about me.
Okay.
Like that's what I'm saying. But yeah, like I just love that he took the gloves off and he didn't use baby hands. Like he was just like, I'm just gonna say my shit and then leave. And then I won't even be present when you hear this. And you can do what you fucking want.
Exactly.
I'm just going to be over here doing my shit.
It's like when Jimin in the video said like he hadn't heard or seen the dark side of Namjoon in a while. And I was like, Jimin, that's so toxic. But me too. When he's like, I missed it. I was like, Jimin, that's so toxic. No, so do I. So it's okay.
But no, I do. I love this album though. Like I love seeing this side of him. And seeing that he's expressing himself in the way he wants to, and he doesn't feel like he's being censored or regulated. Like this album was not for the charts. It was for the people who needed to hear it. It was actually his therapy. Literally, this was him talking to his therapist, okay? This is a therapy session to him. We help pay, he was just saying what we all sometimes feel. And again, this is for the people who have trauma. This is for the people who had trashy relationships. This is for, again, people who feel it will feel it, and those who don't won't. And that's okay. But don't sit here and piss in the bowl of Cheerios. Like, just like it and dislike it, but away if you dislike it, because it's not for you then.
Yeah, and I do want to give like the biggest shout out. Again, I don't know if I can thank this man enough. Son Yeon from Bombing Tiger, because Namjoon also talks about how when he met Bombing Tiger, honestly, he was the one to convince Namjoon to do this album, because like when he was talking to Namjoon, he said like he can just tell from probably the things like Namjoon was saying, or maybe even body language, that like he was a very contradictory person. So he's like, I feel like you need to kind of like channel this energy, because like it's like one of those friends when like you're really in tune, it doesn't matter how long you know each other. He's like, something's off, you're holding yourself back, and it's like, I think you kind of need to release this, because he was supposed to go and enlist when Hobie enlisted. They were supposed to go together. So honestly, I don't know how it would have been, or like even how Namjoon maybe would have coped with like going to the military if it wasn't for Sanyeon. So like I have the biggest respect for that guy. I also feel like he is really a true friend to Namjoon, which is something he like has needed for a long time. I've talked about how you can just tell he had a lot of fake people in his life, and a couple like TikTok videos, and probably here in one of these episodes. But like I'm really thankful for like him, and probably other members from Bombing Tiger to like help Namjoon make this album, go through this process, get it all out. But also probably help him find himself like as a person, as well as like accepting him entering in his 30s. So
yeah. I think for me, if we're still just talking about like first reception of the album, I said this, I think maybe on a live. I think I might have been on Jen's live and Jen and Gina when they go live. I was intoxicated when I heard this album when it dropped.
You said this in the Discord.
That was in Discord. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I talk a lot. I talk a lot amongst the different channels of things that we have as a community. So if I said it on Discord, I probably have also said it on TikTok as well. But I was intoxicated. And I not that I forgot that it was dropping, but I was like, it kind of left my mind for a second. I think I was just kind of overwhelmed with a lot of things. And so when I listened to the album, just start to finish, under the influence, I felt differently about it than I did when I listened to it the day after as a sober human. And I think that's not that like anyone should gauge music based on, being under the influence, but I do think it speaks to like the caliber of artist that he is, that depending on where you're at, depending on the mood you're in, depending on the situation around you, that album and music can hit you differently. And a lot of artists have the ability to do that. I'm not saying it's like, just like unique to Namjoon, but he's in that caliber of artist as well. I think, and I said this back during the D-Day tour. Well, no, back during the controversy with the Frank Ocean, like reshare song shit. That Namjoon has been for a while now deconstructing his relationship he has with it as an idol. We've seen it first kind of rear its ugly head. The infamous Dark Day of Army, what was it, Festa 2022? Was it 22?
Yeah.
Festa dinner. Yeah. That was kind of the first time I think we saw Namjoon kind of break in the way that he did. Just of the weight of being like the spokesperson for every fucking thing imaginable as the leader of the biggest group of the biggest band that we've known in this particular era of time. And I think that what Gina was saying about how Indigo was kind of a prequel, I have a different opinion of that. I think Indigo was the closing of a chapter of his 20s. I think that it was kind of like the end of the end of the diary, like, and it was very what's the word? Subliminal in the messaging. It was a whole lot of open for interpretation, if you will. Like it wasn't really saying the thing, but it was alluding to the thing. And a lot of people would consider Indigo like the album of the eldest daughter. And if you're an eldest daughter, if you're listening to this, and you know what I'm talking about when I say just having the responsibility of being the eldest daughter. I'm not a guy, so I can't speak to being the eldest son, but I do know what it's like to be the eldest daughter of my family and basically becoming a second parent to your siblings and also a second parent to your parents. It felt like Indigo will always hold a special place with me because it healed me. Like it legit, like in the instant when I heard it, like it healed parts of me that I didn't know that were even broken. Like I would consider myself pretty well healed to be in my 30s. Like a lot of people can't get, and I'm not even trying to gas me, but a lot of people can't get to the kind of clarity that I have as a 30-year-old woman. I have so much clarity and so much like healing that I've done through all of the trauma that I've been through. But Namjoon has an ability with his transparency and his honesty and his lyricism to be able to touch parts of you that you didn't even know were really broken until you listened to him talk about his experiences. And I think that is the mark of a true artist and the mark of being able to connect with an audience, which is why he is not popular. It has nothing to do with the fact that the man's not great. A lot of popular artists do not get the recognition they deserve. I can name one right off the top of my head, Duran Bernard. If anybody knows who that man is literally a vocal Bible genius. He should be up in the likes of the biggest artists. And if you've never seen him, and I'll post him in Discord later, or I'll send y'all some stuff. That man's vocal capabilities are alien. He is the living embodiment of Prince and Rick James all rolled into one. And should be well recognized. He's recognized, but he should be well off. He's a background singer. He started off kind of as a background singer. He's worked with a bunch of artists, but most notably, he works with Erykah Badu. And we all know that woman has a keen, you know what I'm saying? That woman's got a keen, with all of her controversy, because that woman is, you know, she's had some kind of, but she has a very keen spirit for locating real good talent. And when we got the feature on Namjoon's Indigo album, we already knew, like all of us who know Erykah, like we already knew what that was about. But so to close that, as far as just like my relationship with Indigo, going into this new album, if I would compare it kind of like to the eldest daughter, this was for the rambunctious middle son. You know what I'm saying? This is for that middle child, that kind of, the middle child syndrome is kind of like, they get kind of overlooked. They have to be louder than the sibling. They're not as loud or as influential as the eldest, but they're not as tended to as the baby. You know what I'm saying? So they have to be louder. They kind of have to have this, they have to make their presence known. And sometimes it comes off-putting. I have a middle brother, like he's a middle child, and I have a baby sister. So when I think of his albums in the space of like my relation to my family, I would absolutely let my little brother listen to this album and he would love it. He would feel so seen. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, like, I feel like with this album, this was just a lot of his thoughts, a lot of his feelings personified in the most outwardly, like, give no fucks. This is what it is. If you don't like it, you can suck it. Like that type of like energy. That's what came behind it. And I think of my brother, just like, not to like be too personal, but my brother was always the kind of guy who, he never had a filter. You couldn't really say much to my brother if you didn't want your shit on blast. He didn't mean it, but he just doesn't have awareness of like, this isn't supposed to be something you say out loud. Like, you're supposed to keep this shit under wraps. This was a secret. This was like a big F you to like that. I feel like this is the album for the middle child. I really do. And going through each song and I sat on, like, it took me a while to get past the first track. And that wasn't even a song. It was a mantra. Like, it was just a constant repetition of, like, right people, wrong place. That's all it was. And I talked about this a little briefly on live. I find it very interesting that the title of the album is Right person, wrong place?
Right people, wrong place.
Yeah, listen, I'd be getting real confused. So either way, the title of the album and the first track are swapped.
Oh wait, no, did I also fuck that up? Hang on.
I don't know.
Hang on. The first song is Right People, Wrong Place. The album title is Right Place, Wrong Person. Lord.
Yeah, so they are, listen, the alliteration of it all. But anyway, but no, like those two things are swapped. So like, it's almost like you're going into a different dimension. That's how I felt. And then the way the song feels like you're just falling down into like a portal. Like we're literally going to see the different places and different people. That's what it feels. It feels like a transition into this world that he's speaking of. And then every track is like a different like space, a different like place or, whatever, and where he does or does not fit in those places, which I'm sure we'll get into. So I won't get too deep into it yet.
Yeah, I mean, you're already kind of getting us into it. So I can start talking about Right People,
sure.
Wrong Place. That's the first song. Hey guys, so I just want to let you know I had to divide this episode up into 3 parts. We just had a lot of great discussions. Once again, I'm very thankful for Gina, Shay, and Jen for coming on to the podcast to discuss the album with me. And I also did not want to give you a 6.5 hour, straight podcast. It's okay. I understand. In today's day and age, our attention spans, they're very short. So I just went ahead and divided it up into 3. So this was part 1, and we'll actually start talking about Namjoon's album, half of it in part 2, and then finish it off in part 3. So thank you for listening. You can find us on social media at I Was Thinking Pod on Instagram, X/Twitter, and TikTok. And you can email us at iwasthinkingpod@gmail.com. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you in part 2.